Hi everyone, I'm Esther Rani, Assistant Professor of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today I would like to take a grammar topic, prepositions. Why I just selected this topic? Prepositions is such a grammar topic. It's very tricky, very easy, but at the same time very difficult to use. When we see sentence, using like for example, a book is on the table, a book is on the table. So when we see the sentence, very easy to place the book is on the table, on. Automatically we go for a preposition on, easy only. But sometimes we face a lot of difficulties and we commit a lot of mistakes also while placing these prepositions in front of noun or pronoun, whatever. So first of all, let us see what is preposition. So here, a preposition denotes the position that one person or thing occupies in relation to the other. Preposition acts as a mediator. Preposition. It acts as a mediator to connect to, because it is put before the noun or a pronoun, which is the object of that. Relevantly, which is the object of the sentence. So, it is put before the noun or a noun equivalent, which is its objective. Means it is a connecting word between subject and object in brief. Generally, preposition is used before the noun or pronoun, but sometimes it is used after the noun and after the pronoun also. As just now I have given an example, the book is on the table. Book is on the table. Here, this is in between subject and object, that is book and table. It connects, it shows the relationship between book and the table. But sometimes, even after noun and pronoun also, we get prepositions. So, what are you looking for? Is a sentence. What are you looking for here? For is a preposition. Usually, sometimes in questions, at the end of the question, we get a preposition. It's not a wrong one, correct method only. Then, in these prepositions we can differentiate in three kinds. Three kinds of prepositions that we have. Many prepositions are there. A few, just for the sake of your clarity, I'm giving here. Simple prepositions, compound prepositions, phrasal prepositions. These are the three divisions we have in prepositions. Coming to the simple prepositions, at, in, on, by, with, of, OFF and OF. For, from, to, out, over, under, since, through, up, down, above, after, about, around, across, till, against. All these are simple prepositions. And easily we can identify where to place these. We may not commit mistakes, I think, if we know all the rules. The next, compound prepositions. Two prepositions put together we call compound prepositions. See, into, upon, within, without, beneath, besides, before, beyond, below, among, against, underneath, between, behind, outside, besides. These are compound prepositions. Coming to the phrasal prepositions, combination of two or more. By means of phrase, it's a phrase, phrasal preposition we call that. By means of, in addition to, in front of, in reference to, in regard to, instead of, in spite of, on account of, on top of. So these are phrasal prepositions. Now let me revise. Three kinds of prepositions are there. One is simple preposition, compound preposition, and phrasal preposition. Okay. Keeping these three kinds in mind, let us go ahead with the categories. So before that, let us make a move to the examples, one or two examples, so that we get clarity over that. So the preposition on and in. See here, the keys are on the table, not the keys are in the table. No. Usually we keep keys on the table. Then the preposition in. The movie starts in 1 hour. In an hour also we can go for. In 1 hour. Within that means here we are going to mention here time. In the first one, location, where we kept the keys. At what time the movie starts. Okay. So in this way we have to place prepositions. So now, as we have so many sentences where to place simple preposition, compound preposition and phrasal preposition, but even after knowing all the rules also, sometimes a few prepositions are very tricky, confusing prepositions, we can say that. Though we know very well where to use prepositions, sometimes see when we get to these prepositions, what we are going to discuss later in the slides. So we get confused. So let us, like in this session, I am not going to discuss each and every preposition, but a few prepositions which are very tricky, very confusing, that I would like to discuss with you. So here, the first one is among, between, and among, in. So where we have to use among, where we have to use between, and in. So here you see, among, let us take first among and between. Among is used when more than two persons or things are there. A crowd. Let us take 4 or 5 friends sat together and talking, chit-chatting. There you see we have to use the expression among. Between is used only for 2 persons or 2 things. Specifically when we have only 2, we have to use between. The girl is sitting between 2 friends. The girl is sitting between 2 friends. The boy is sitting among his friends. Means more than 2 they are. More than 2. Here you see. 2 examples I have given. Distribute these sweets among the poor students of the class. Distribute these sweets among the poor students of the class, who are not affordable. Among means many poor students are there in the class. So here we are using the preposition among. Clear? Next sentence, you just see the difference between among and between. Distribute these books between Ram and Sham. Between Ram and Sham means here we mention only 2 names. 2 names, Ram and Sham. So with this you see we have to go with the preposition between. Between. So when we have more than 2 persons and 2 things, among, preposition among we have to use. When we have only 2 things or 2 persons, we have to go for between. Between, the preposition between. Okay. And the next one is again among and in. Among is used for collective plural nouns also. Collective plural nouns. More than 2 and collective plural nouns. Crowd, mob. Plural noun, it's a collective noun also. Plural, collective noun. So when you have plural collective noun, you can go with the among. You can go with the among. I found him standing among the crowd. Among the crowd. Don't say in the crowd. No. Because you didn't find there, see only 2 persons, and you cannot call if you have 2 persons or 2 things as crowd. Okay. Among the crowd is the right expression here. And then I saw him in the crowd. I found him standing among the crowd, and in is used before collective singular noun. singular collective noun. Here also, I saw him in the crowd. Here we have to take as a singular collective noun, plural collective noun and singular collective noun. I found him standing among the crowd. There is a big mob. So it's not like one or two crowds. You see, if you find more crowds, two, three, what we call that group of people. Okay, then among. If it is only one crowd, collective singular noun, you see, we can go with the in, preposition in. Okay, the difference between among, between, and in. The next one is beside and besides. In, within. Very important these two are. Many times, you see, we come across beside, besides, we commit definitely a mistake. Definitely we commit a mistake here. What is beside? What is besides? Here you see. Beside is by the side of. Beside is by the side of. Besides means in addition to. In addition to. Here you see, the daughter was sitting beside her mother. This girl was sitting beside her friend. Okay, the daughter was sitting beside her mother, means just by the side of her mother, the daughter was sitting. And besides his relatives, he invited his friends too. Besides Telugu, I can speak English. Means in addition to Telugu, I can speak English. Means in addition, when you get the meaning in addition, so you have to use the preposition besides. Just by the side of, beside. Okay, and the next one is in and within. In and within. Here, where to use in and where to use within also we get confused. So here you see, in means at the expiry of a period of time. Both are period of time only. In and within we use for period of times only. But at the expiry of time is where we have to use in. At the expiry of time, for that you see, we have to use in. And then within we have to use before the expiry of time. At the expiry of time and before the expiry of time. Here see, she will return in a week. She will return in a week means at the period of time. I shall finish my work within a week before the expiry. Before that week, you see, I can finish my work. These are the two rules that you have to keep it in mind to use in and within. Okay. And the next one is on, upon, and by, with. Where you have to use on, upon, and by, with. Very interesting prepositions these are. On and upon. On we have already discussed the keys on the table. Here you see, she is sitting on the floor. Means it's a preposition of rest. On is a preposition of rest. And upon is the preposition of movement. Upon is a preposition of movement. Here you see, she is sitting on the floor. Means she sat there. A preposition of rest it is, on. The dog sprang upon the table. You can imagine how dog sprang upon the table. It's a movement from one place to on, from floor to table. So when you see some movement in the action, then you can use upon. Clear it is? And the next one is by and with. By and with also very interesting prepositions. By denotes that agent or doer of the action. By is a doer of the action. Okay. And with is which denotes instrument with which anything is done. By is doer of the action. See here, Ravana was killed by, most popular example this is. Ravana was killed by Rama with an arrow. Both I have used in this example. Usually we don't go to the extent of with an arrow. Ravana was killed by Rama. There we could keep a full stop, isn't it? Here you see, both I would like to use by and with. Ravana was killed by Rama means agency. Who has done this Rama. Rama is here a doer of the action. What is the instrument that he has used? Arrow. With an arrow. Okay. So in these sentences, I have used both. Even in the next sentence also, I just used both the prepositions for the better understanding. The bird was killed by the hunter with an arrow. The bird was killed by the hunter. Who killed the bird? Hunter. Hunter killed the bird. So here he is the agent or he is the doer of the action. With what? What is the instrument that he has used here? Arrow. So with we have used here. Okay. And then I think you understood this. And one more sentence. I bet the dog with a stick. I bet the dog with a stick. Here the instrument is stick. So with we have to use. And the next is I shall reach by 5 o'clock. By is used in future tense to express time also here in the last stage. Sometimes, rarely, we use this one also. Okay. And the next one is after, in, for, from, since. So where we use after, in, for, from, since, because you see, these are confusing expressions, prepositions. So when we get clarity over that, you see, most of the sentences will become easy for us where to keep proper preposition. So after means at the end of the period of time. You know, like this is the meaning. So in means within the stipulated period of time. After means at the end of the time. Like in means within the stipulated period of time. I shall return your book in a week. In a week means within a stipulated period of time, I'll return your book. That is the meaning of the sentence. So here we have to use in the preposition. And he returned the book after a week. Means at the end of the means week. Last time means period of time. So here we have to use after. He returned the book after a week. At the end of the period of time. So whenever you come across a period of time, stipulated period of time, end of the period of time and stipulated period of time, remember for a stipulated period of time you have to use in and end of the period of time you have to use after, right? Then for, since and from. So many a times even in the previous sessions when we discussed about tenses, we discussed for and since, period of the time and point of the time we have discussed. And then here again, now I'm going to repeat these. For is used before nouns denoting a period of time. And then from is used before nouns or phrases denoting point of time in all the tenses, in all the tense. And then since is used for point of time where it starts to till. So point of time, we have to use since. Here is the 3 examples I have given for each. So here, for period of time, we have been playing cards for 2 hours. For the period of time, since 2 hours means when they have started, we don't know. 2 hours they have been playing cards. That's why here we have to use for. Okay. And then we play from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. From means it's a noun or a phrase which denote a point of the time. At any tense we can use that. She lived in Bombay since 1999. Here point of time is 1999 and since we have to use the preposition since we have to use which indicates point of time. Point of time. Okay. And the next one is above and over. Above and over. Above means by the word itself we can understand higher. Above means higher than, over than, higher. Over is used in the following 4 senses. Like here, higher that we can, wherever it is a high place, we can use above that. And here you see, in the sense of above, at noon, the sun is over our heads. In the sense of above means higher. We use sun is over our heads. Sun is over our heads. And in the sense of beyond, over and over, beyond. So I can't get over my disappointment. I cannot get over my disappointment. More than that, beyond that, I cannot accept that. In that sense, also we can use over. Okay, and the next, in the sense of superiority. In the sense of superiority. So here, see, God overall blushes forevermore. God overall blesses for evermore. Here in this sense also means we are accepting the superiority of the Almighty here. So in that sense also we can use over. And then in a sense of conclusion, to give conclusion, end point. So here you see, it's all over within me. Means here, over, here it expresses the conclusion, end, completion. It's all over. It's all over. So over we use in all these senses. And then at and towards. These are again two prepositions which confuses a lot. At denotes idea of aim. At denotes aiming point. At. See here. He threw the stone at the cat. Usually small children, mischievous children, they throw stones at the cat. At is a aiming point. At is at aims. And he went towards the house. Here, towards means the idea of some destination, we can say that. Where to go. He went towards the house. He is going towards the house. So it indicates the destination. So in these two senses, see, we can use at and next at, in, on. As we have again now, we are just revising all these. At is used as follows. At is used for small towns. Mostly we just get confused where to use when we get the small places and big towns and cities. Which proportion that we have to use, at, on, in, what it is. So here you see, it is used, at is used with the small towns and villages, you see. I was born at Sonapet. I was born at, it's a very small town. If it is a small town, at. If Sonapet is a big town, like I say, we can use in. Okay, here see. At is used before a noun to denote definite point of time also. Here see, he called me at 9 p.m. yesterday. To say something a point of time, at we can use. Now, let us go for in. In is used in within the, for the name, before the names of big cities, provinces and countries, we can use in. My father lives in America. My friend lives in Haryana. So, they are big cities. With big cities, we have to go with the in. Small towns and small places, we can go with the preposition at. Okay, here. And the next is, in is used before the names of months and years also. This is also very important. Many people, they get confused before years, months, what to use. My elder sister was born in 1972 in the month of May. In the month of May. So here, date and year and month, we have to go with a in. Right? And I joined the college. On is used. Now, one more is there for us. On is a preposition where we used with dates and names of days. Names of days. I joined the college on the 26th April. Date here. Okay. I will leave for Calcutta on Wednesday next. I leave for Calcutta on Wednesday. Here, the day that we are mentioning, so we have to go with the on. Did you understand? Yes. Below, beneath, in, into, to. Below means under. Below means lower level of the position. Dignity. Sometimes you say below dignity, we call that. Lower level of the position. And low very low expectation. And beneath is used as under. Under is different, and low position, low dignity, low expectations, all these are completely different. That's why you see below is different and beneath is different. Beneath is under. Below is something which is very low position, low dignity, low expectations. Like that we can use. It is below my dignity to talk to her. Did you understand this sentence? It is below dignity to talk to her because she is lesser than me. So for me, it's a below dignity to talk to her. Okay. They rested beneath the shade of the under the shade of the tree means instead of using under, we have to use beneath also here. When you get a preposition beneath, if you get a question where you have to use this preposition beneath, here under, where you get the meaning under, you have to go with the substitute of preposition beneath. They rested beneath the shade of a tree. Beneath the shade of a tree. So this is the usage of beneath and below. And then into, to. Already we have used these expressions in different angle. Here also, in expressed rest. And then into expresses motion towards, means movement towards inside or anything, to change from one place to another place, like. And then to denotes movement from one place to another. The boys are in the room. The boys are in the room, place of rest. Okay. Translate this passage from English to Hindi. From English into Hindi, not to Hindi. Many a times we commit mistake in that only. We write from English to Hindi is the wrong expression. From English into Hindi. Okay. Into other language. Every morning he goes to the temple. Not into the temple or from the temple. So every morning he goes to the temple. In this way we have to use in, into and to. So many a times knowing all the prepositions where we have to use, how we have to use, and after knowing all these rules also, sometimes we go for wrong usage of prepositions. Many a times. Easy sentences or easy phrases only, here and there we commit mistakes knowingly. So very important prepositions, usages I have taken here just to give you clarities here. A few wrongly used sentences and how we have to adjust and write in a right way. Let us see. To learn word by word. Many times we say we learn word by word is a wrong expression. What is the right expression here? To learn word for word, not word by word. Word for word. This word for that word is the right usage. Another wrong usage is sit under the shade of a tree. Sit in the shade of the tree is the right expression. And very important one is write with ink. I write with ink. Usually we use this expression, but it is a wrong expression. We write in ink. In ink. Ink will flow out. In ink, not with ink, is a wrong expression. She was married with Rama is wrong. To Rama. Sita was married to Rama is the right expression. It's not married with. Many of we people knowingly, because we are non-native speakers of English, so we don't know which one is right and which one is wrong. That's why right and wrong usages I would like to put in front of you, right? So married with is a wrong expression. Married to is a right expression. And the next one is China is in the north of India. In the north of India is a wrong expression. To the north of India is right expression. To the north, to the east, to the west is the right expression. Not in the north, in the south. No. Next one is to meet in the way. Usually we use this expression. I met him in my way is a wrong expression. I met him on my way is a right expression. On my way, on the way is the right expression. And different than. This is different than. That is wrong expression. Different from that. Different from that. Weak in subject, good in subject is a wrong one again. Many a times we use this, use sentences in this way. She is good in mathematics. No, it's wrong. She is good at mathematics. Good at a subject. Good at, weak at a subject. Good always followed by at with regarding these subjects. To send on an address is a wrong expression. When we send a letter or mail or something, send on an address is a wrong. Send to an address is a correct expression. Time in the watch. Let me check time in my watch. Let me check time in my watch is a wrong expression. Time by the watch is very difficult to accept this. Time by the watch is a right expression where we have to rectify ourselves. Time by the watch. And a few more I have given here. Prefer from is wrong. Prefer to. I prefer coffee to tea. It's not I prefer coffee from tea is a wrong. Superior than is wrong expression. Superior to is a right expression. To talk with a man is wrong. This is again a blunder that we commit. I talk, go and talk with that man. No, it's not a right expression. Go and talk to a man. To a man. And inferior, superior, these two are inferior than, superior than is wrong. Inferior to, superior to. And examination begins from, mostly we write examination begins from, but this is wrong. Examination begins on so and so time. Die from a disease is a blunder. Die from disease is a blunder. Die of disease. He died of corona. He died of corona, not died from corona. Okay. Die of hunger, die from hunger here again. See the difference. To have a talk to a person, to have a talk with a person. Translate from English to Hindi. This already we have discussed, I think. Translate from English into Hindi is a right expression. So here, as a classroom activity, one complete exercise that I have given, go through all these sentences and try to fill proper prepositions here. So children, here students, I would like to tell you one thing. Prepositions are very tricky, at the same time very important. If you keep a wrong preposition, say, like completely the meaning will be changed. So learn proper prepositions, where to keep, try to speak in a native speakers of English. Thank you for being with me. All the best.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.